welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Radtrick Report. And obviously, as now you look to my right, we now have Justin with me. Please welcome McCamp for Life with us here. He's my new co-host, as announced on Twitter the other day. So welcome, Justin. I'm so happy to have you here, and of course, welcome to another episode of the Radtrick Report.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. It's a pleasure to be here, an honor, a privilege, man. I love talking hockey. I love talking Cats hockey. And to be able to be on this great platform with you and everybody involved, to just do what I love to do. It is a blessing and an honor, and it is just fantastic to have such a great and humble and gracious co-host like yourself. So I'm ready to roll, man. Let's go. Let's do the dang thing.
I mean, you know how much we got to talk about. I mean, there was a lot that happened in the league. We were talking so much off camera. Obviously, the other day we might have talked for a little bit too much, but I mean, let's go ahead and hop straight into it. I mean, not too much as far as the Panthers last week. Only two games played, but the game against the Ducks and the game against the Stars. It started off with the game against the Ducks, I guess.
Yeah, man. Well, the Cats lose in overtime, rather shootout, rather overtime and then a shootout. Um, Very peculiar game because the Cats form up to this point has been very, very flashes of greatness, and then a lot of shocking, to say the least, losses. This game in particular was interesting because as far as like shots, hits, face off percentage, block shots, I mean, they were won pretty handily by Florida. Uh, Pretty much almost the opposite of how close the Stars matchup was. Um, Shout out to Rhino though. He scored his 299th goal. Shout out to that man. He's been on a
Tie the
heater,
game.
man. Yeah. Tied the game, got the momentum right back. I mean, he has been on a heater, and I think he's going to be really, really important to the success and to the journey to get back to form for the team. Um, Shout out Lundell. He had a big game as well. He's balling out as well on the ice. He goes out there every night and puts his best skate forward. And much like Rhino and his goal production, we're going to need that as far as overcoming the disadvantages of having so many people injured. So shout out to both of them.
Yeah. Also, I think obviously we had another game from Daniil Tarasov. He was very solid net, I thought. As we were kind of discussing it the other day, there were some moments where he looked a little bit shaky, which is something a little bit concerning with me, especially in that shootout on that game-winning goal from Mason McTavish. There was a lot of kind of controversy that I kind of saw a little bit on Twitter with did he stop? Did he come to a complete stop? What's the rule with that? Um, Overall, I do believe that was a good goal. I think that was honestly very just smart from McTavish. I feel like he kind of noticed the shakiness that Tarasov had going into that shootout and how he was kind of, instead of going down to the, you know, going down spread eagle butterfly, he was just kind of flopping all over the place, going to make a save with his glove. But I think it was a very smart play by McTavish just to keep on waiting him and open up that 5 hole, and then just a very good play. Unfortunately, we do get the loss in that one, but we rebound against Dallas.
Let's go. Let's go. Big Cats win in a shootout. Ironically, 2 games since our last episode, and they both end in a shootout. This time in a Cats win, baby. Let's go. Against the Dallas Stars. This is our 5th win in a row against this Stars team, man. That's huge. We
Wow.
kind of
I
owned
didn't
them,
even know
man.
that part. I didn't even know that part.
Yeah, I want to say their last win against the Panthers was in January of 2023. It's been a while.
Wow. Yeah, that goes back to before Cups.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. I mean, it is remarkable how we seem to always have a great game against them. We match up very well against them despite all the injuries. Of course, we got to talk about first and foremost with that game, Brad Marchand. He had a very emotional return to the team, going to Halifax to not only mourn the loss of his buddy McCollum, his 10-year-old daughter, Selah, rest in peace. but also coaching the youth hockey team over there in McCollum Steed. That was a very, very kind and honorable gesture by him, as they both were great, great friends and still are. But his return to the ice and the fact that not only he scored the opening goal, pointed up to the heavens, because we know little Sayla's looking down at him proud. But scoring the game-winning goal in the shootout, man. I mean, that's storybook. That you could put that in a script and sell it to Disney, and you'll have a Hollywood box office miracle. I mean, these are the moments where I use to tell people how awesome hockey is, because when you rally around someone when they're hurting, they're mourning, I mean, hockey is such an avenue and a tool for healing. And I mean, we've talked off camera, Jeremy, how it's both, it has healed both of us when we've gone through stuff. But, obviously it's different for the players. And I'm so happy to not only see him back, but continuing to thrive out on the ice. And of course, prayers and our thoughts go out to the entire McCollum family and everyone who had the pleasure of knowing Miss Sayla. So, rest in peace to her. And we're just really, really thinking about the McCollum family.
Yeah, absolutely. And just touching upon what you're talking about of, storybook ending, and just when you think of like hockey and you think of like this is a moment that got me into the sport. This is a moment like if you're trying to show someone that's not into hockey and you're trying to show someone like a moment that like you can go ahead and pinpoint like this is such a good moment, and it kind of adds to the list, and it's not to the same extent, but it kind of reminds me of a moment that always I kind of resonate with, that always kind of brought me, and I'll always talk about forever and ever, is um, the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas game from back in 2018 when the Panthers
Yes.
faced the Capitals. And I'll like never forget that one because that's a game when the Panthers were down 2-1 very late in the game. You have a late goal to tie it up, and then you have the Vincent Trocheck goal with less than a minute left. I think it was around 20 seconds left. Vincent Trocheck scores that
Yes.
goal, and you just have that like this wonderful moment where you have such a great pregame honor of flashing names on the ice, and you have the team there, and you have such a nice ceremony for the school, and then you have the whole speech by Lou, and then you have just such a storybook ending from the Panthers of a team that rallies late in the game to go ahead and get a win, and that was so phenomenal of an ending just right there. And it's not to the same extent, but it is kind of is another one of those moments where you can just go ahead and chalk it down as this is something that was so inspirational, and it just goes ahead and carries on and goes down into like kind of the legacy of how hockey is.
Absolutely. And it's those moments that not only bring the fan base tight knit and bring them together, but it brings the entire hockey community together. It is such a sport that is rooted in life values and life lessons. No man is an island, no woman is an island. You need a good supporting cast and a good source of friends to get you through life. Because in hockey, one player or two players may make you a great team, but unless everyone comes together and buys in and sacrifices for each other, you're not going to win the Stanley Cup, because it is the most demanding, it is the hardest trophy to win, and it's the ultimate goal. And that's why everybody laces up the skates. And moments like this really, really drive home that hockey is, in my opinion, the greatest sport on earth. It is.
Absolutely, and completely agree. And while we're staying on the topic of Brad Marchand, we want to go ahead and get to something that's a little bit lighter and talk about some of the things that he might have said last night at Panthers Fest.
Oh man, oh my goodness. So I get the notification because all of my friends are at Panthers Fest. I wish I could be there, but Atlanta's
Hey,
very far away.
yeah, you're even farther away. I was say I'm 3 hours away. I forget you're over in Atlanta. You're even
Yeah.
worse.
Long way, long way. But yeah, Brad Marchand has some very interesting things to say about the process of his trade to Florida. he did mention that there was a trade pretty much mapped out already in the process of being done to a different team. He didn't say which. Jeremy, I'm sure we have our conspiracies as to which team, but he did immediately shut it down. He was like, "Nope, I don't want to play there. Florida is the place I want to play because it gives me the best opportunity to be on a contender, a very strong contender. It gives me the best opportunity to win a Stanley Cup, which of course is the ultimate goal. And it was just the right move for him and his family at the time, you know. So I'm very glad he chose us, but I'm very interested as to which team that was.
Hey, I have no idea. I mean, you can only imagine. Hey, you got so many teams in the NHL, and you got to think teams that are trying to get over that hump. You do kind of wonder which team that could have been, and if it has to do with geography, if it has to do with just not seeing himself in the future of that team long term. Maybe
That's true.
maybe 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 the team that was in our division. Who knows? But
Ooh,
I mean, hey, I mean, there are rumors out there, but I mean, we'll keep it at that, and
yeah,
certainly wonder. We'll probably never know which team that was, and this is just another example of Brad Marchand doing Marchy things and stirring the pot a little bit as to what teams did not have the fortune of having him on their playoff roster come May. Um,
absolutely.
and of course, getting back to that game just the other night here on Saturday against the Dallas Stars, Donovan Sebrango made his Panthers debut. Uvis Balinskis went to the bench, but Donovan Sebrango made his NHL debut. Justin, well, how'd you think of Sebrango in his debut?
My boy, Donnie boy, the Don, you know, my boy Donnie Sabrango, number 6, man. I mean, he had a very, very good debut, in my opinion. For 19 minutes to be +2 on the ice is pretty good. He moves the puck out of the defensive zone very quickly. It actually reminds me of Paul Loss, Panthers legend. Very, very good debut, man. Very good. And I think if he can find consistency with that level of play, given, I mean, this is only like his 5th NHL game. I mean, his Cat's debut, but if he can find consistency and truly buy into the system that Paul Maurice is preaching and coaching, he's going to be very, very important to getting us back to form and getting us back to being a top team, at least standings wise, in the NHL, especially instead of all the injuries that we have. And, the hope is once everybody, obviously, Barkey might not be back for the season. Who knows? We'll see. Fingers crossed for the playoffs. But as far as the regular season, he's going to be out, and people have to step up. I think if he can find consistency with that level of play, he's going to be a very, very key piece to bringing us back to the way Panthers hockey is played. Big body, physical, and I think the play style is right up his alley. So let's hope and pray that my boy ends up becoming a Panthers legend, because I did tweet out when they announced he was starting, this is the beginning of a legacy career for the Florida Panthers for my boy, the dog.
He's a big body out there that I feel like someone that as I just said, he's a big body, 6'2", 223, listed on his NHL profile. But I mean, he has solid mobility for his size. I mean, he was moving the puck pretty well, in my opinion. He was someone who wasn't necessarily too noticeable, but also when you are also playing a role and it's not your NHL debut, but your first game with said team in the NHL, then you probably don't want to be too noticeable. You want to just go ahead and fit in and make sure you're not making any wrong plays or anything. And he didn't. I felt like he kind of as our boy Brian on Twitter said, he felt like it was stabilized a little bit, that bottom pairing, and I kind of agree because I felt like we've kind of had enough of Uvis and Jeff Petrie together. Personally, I'm a big fan
Yes.
of Uvis. I like Uvis. I like what he brings to the table, but I just feel like him and Jeff Petrie, they didn't click like we were kind of hoping. Like maybe we'd get something like a Mahura and Gudis, like something like that. That's kind of randomly got moved
Right.
together, but we didn't get that. The veteran and the seventh defenseman did not work out, and
Right.
it's something. It's unfortunately, as I like Ubis, I think he probably fits with someone else, but it's just not his style play going ahead and being matched with Jeff Petrie. Donovan Sabrango, though, he got moved right in there, and obviously, I think Paul Maurice has a lot of trust in Jeff Petrie, so we're probably going to continue seeing him. But Sabrango looked pretty solid, I would say, in his first game with the Panthers. So overall, very nice debut for the 23-year-old who was a 2020 second round pick, by the way. I did not realize. I mean, that's a third round pick, actually. It's a third round pick. He's 63rd
Yeah, man.
overall. I'm reading off his profile just then. But again, good game. That was his first game over 20 days because the last game he played was actually against the Panthers. That was when Ottawa faced us, and then he immediately got waived and claimed by us. So that was great. He was used to playing in Florida, so
Yeah, full circle, man. I mean, like Petrie and Uvis, they're great in the vacuum where they are not together. It's kind of like jelly, grape jelly, delicious. Mustard, great on hot dogs. But a jelly and mustard sandwich just doesn't work. The pairing is not working. And Sabringo getting right in there, he's made an immediate impact by just settling in and fitting in. And the hope is that we can keep that consistency rolling, baby.
I mean, what an analogy right there. That's great. What an analogy. Um, but I mean, yeah, I completely agree. I felt like overall, I felt like Ufus is still a good player, but we'll have to. Hopefully, we'll see him again later on. I hope maybe Sabrango needs some time off, or Jeff Petrie needs to get moved to the bench. Oh, maybe we'll eventually see Sabrango and Ufus. Maybe that works out or something. But um, I mean, that'll be food for thought for the future. For right now, though, let's go ahead and probably switch off of the Florida Panthers. We can probably move on to another topic before we end our show here. How about around the league? And we were just talking. I was personally just talking about it just a couple of weeks ago on the show. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they only had one win. They are struggling. They're at last place in our conference standings. They won 5 straight games.
Jeremy, you should have knocked on wood, man. You jinxed it.
Hey, I said before it was gonna happen eventually. I didn't think it would happen this quickly, but what can we do? And I guess I could have knocked on one. I guess I could have done something. I don't know. Maybe I'm that. Maybe I'm that powerful where I can just speak in the future. I guess if I'm going to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now. The Panthers are winning the cup in the next 5 years. I guess I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there
Let's
right now.
go. Let's go.
Uh,
They say the tongue has power in it, and clearly your aura and your power is fast acting like Goody's powder because that is unbelievable. I mean, dude, how about Brandon Hagel? Bro's balling.
I he was struggling to start the season, and as we are just discussing off camera, I mean, look at his last 5 games. He's got a goal at least in his last 4 games, so he's got a 4-game goal streak. He had I think in one of those he had 2 assists, and then he had one assist in each of the next 2 games after that one too. I mean, it's just a crazy stretch he's on right now for the last 5 games, which conveniently goes along with that stretch of them winning the last 5 games in a row. So I mean, I feel like everyone kind of knew that Brandon Hagel at some point was probably going to get to doing what he's been doing for the Lightning for the last couple of years.
Yep,
Obviously had a little bit of a slow stretch, but obviously, when you also have other guys like Brandon Point was off to a little bit of a slow start too. So at some
that's true.
point, that team was gonna heat up, and that team is really heating up now. 5 straight wins. Great game last night against Utah. That was a nice finish for them. They get that 4-2 win. They obviously also beat Dallas. That was in overtime, I think you said before.
Yep.
So there you go, right there. 5 straight wins for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Brand Hagel's heating up, and the Lightning are once again looking like they're got the firepower just clicking for them.
Yeah, I mean, he has been the key to getting them back on track. I mean, you look at his last 5 games, he is plus two, four, quick math, two, four, six, seven, eight, plus 8 in his last 5 games combined. That, I mean, you look at that and it's like, wow, all it took was him, locking in, and now the Lightning are dominating again. Look at that. Who would have thought?
Not only that, but Nikita Kucherov, obviously, congratulations to him. 1,000 points that was hit, I believe, last week. Congratulations to Kucherov. And as much as I despise him a little bit because of obviously some of the rivalries we've had over the years, him and Kachuk have had their fair share of battles. I guess we'll say, and we can keep it at that. We don't need to go into that necessarily right now. We can save that for when the rivalry starts heating up when we face them again. Which
Oh yeah.
you already know as soon as we face them, you already know we're probably going to go ahead and get immediately 100 minutes of penalties. Uh,
Oh yeah.
and
They're
I can
dropping
only
gloves at the
assume
face off, bro.
I
Like
can
it's
only
gonna be
assume
like Four
Kucherov
Nations
will
all
be.
over again.
It's if only. Let's go ahead and see right now. Let's go ahead and look right now, just to go ahead and see the next time the Panthers face the Lightning. I just need to go ahead and mark the calendar a little bit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Circle that right there.
So the next time the Panthers face them is November 15th. So actually, we're
Ooh.
facing them in 12 days. Panthers versus Lightning, November 15th, Saturday. That's a game we're home. And then we face them December 15th and December 27th. So we face them right around that time, too, around Christmas, which also leads me to believe it's a question mark, but will Matthew Tkachuk be back for the Panthers and the Lightning facing off against each other? That'll be a question mark because, I mean, they are saying January, but, I mean, what if there's a little bit of a spark that they need from him and he somehow returns? Oh, that's again food for thought for the future. But
Indeed.
December is when the Panthers will be facing them back to back in a matter of a week, but we will be facing them here in 12 days, and you can already imagine the fireworks that we'll probably see in that game.
Big game, big fight feel, divisional matchup, in-state rivalry. It should be a fantastic game, and I cannot wait. I've already got it circled on the calendar. We don't like them. They don't like us. Spot the puck, throw that thing down at center ice. Let's do this thing.
Here's my question: we've now faced the Tampa Bay Lightning obviously 4 times in the last 5 years in the playoffs, tied 2-2 in the series. Do we say winner? Do we say best of three here? And the Panthers go ahead and beat them this year in the playoffs again, three straight.
Yeah, we got to break that tie, man. We got to break that tie. We got to show them that Florida is still red and gold. And Bolts, you had your time in the sun, you did, but this is the new Florida now. Rats reign over here. No more thunderbolts, no more lightning. Very, very frightening. Shout out
Hey, I
Kane.
mean, I, hey, I mean, hey, we've heard what the best announcer in hockey, Goldie, had to go ahead and say at the parade, and with all the rain that was happening that one day, when he went ahead and said it's raining out, but we're not scared of the thunder, are we? And no, we're not. Not
No,
anymore. Not anymore.
not
Not
anymore.
anymore. And
Heck no.
moving on though, we have a very very tough schedule ahead of us. Uh, not necessarily as far as matchups. I would say two of them should be games that we should be able to squeak out wins against. But more importantly, uh, I hope you have energy drinks on hand, Justin, because this is going to be a very, very tough stretch for us trying to watch these games. 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. Three games
Jeez.
this weekend, or 3 games this week, starting tomorrow, Tuesday, against Anaheim. That's a rematch of last week, but we'll be
Mm.
facing Anaheim 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Then Thursday night, we're out west again, LA, before we
Yeah.
again out west on Saturday, facing off against San Jose, and then we'll of course
Mm.
save the Vegas matchup. That's next Monday. But 3 games this week, all of them 10 o'clock starts. So I hope everyone enjoys late night with the Panthers because we're going to be seeing a lot of Goldie and a lot of late night games.
Indeed. I just got a cafecito maker from Amazon. So,
Hey,
the
there you
cafecito
go.
will be flowing. Cats After Dark, you gotta love it if you have enough sleep. Um, the melatonin gummies will be used this week because if I stay up, I will probably miss work. But it's okay because we should come out of this. If we can come out of this West Coast road trip 2-2, we should be okay. at least 2-2. You win one game, it was looking kind of dicey. But I mean, beat the Sharks, beat the Kings. If you could find a way to get that win back on Anaheim, that would be great. And then the Vegas Golden Frauds. Ah, yes. My favorite team in the West Coast that I like to hate on. Thank you for ruining this. This should have a Stanley Cup champions patch on it, but I'll just have to settle for a
They've
finals
ruined it.
appearance.
They've ruined the best comeback story a team has ever had, by the way. The best underdog story a team will ever have. They had to ruin
Absolutely.
that. But it's
Dude,
fine because we
Disney
gotta
Disney had the
get back.
script already written. They were ready to greenlight the film. Steven Spielberg's like, all right, all they need to do is get 4 wins here, and we're here. Nope, nope.
We had to learn how to lose. We had to learn how to lose that game in order for us to go ahead and get our get back and go ahead and win back-to-back cups against Edmonton. Because now we had to go ahead and move on. We had to move on to bigger and better things. And unfortunately, Vegas has not gotten back to there. So maybe that's a Vegas problem. Maybe they had a little bit too much glory. Maybe they had a little bit too much fun where they had maybe they got a little bit too cocky there. But
They fell for the
we
rat poison.
exactly. We got to do what they couldn't do, and that's win back-to-back championships. And we did it in dominating fashion, I would say.
Oh yeah, you know what I always say, Jeremy. You never lose, you learn. And
Mm-hmm.
that was a big learning experience for the team. And not only did it steal their nerves and cause them to lock in and fully buy into the Paul Maurice system, the Paul Maurice miracle worker system, but like you said, it resulted in 2 rings. They're very big and shiny, as you guys may have seen from my Whitebeard memes. Can we get much higher? But hopefully it results in a third one this year. But for all intents and purposes, knock on this wood, uh, the cup window should still be open for at least about a few more years, and hopefully we can put some more rings on them fingers. But yeah, man, it should. This West Coast trip should be fun. I cannot wait to lose so much sleep over this.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, as someone who also has to be up early, my sleep schedule will be very much in pain and completely shattered, and
Mm.
my brain will be telling me to please go to sleep. But we shall not, because the Panthers come first in this family. I think that's all we have to really talk about. Thank you so much, Justin, for joining us. I'm so happy to go ahead and have someone by my side, someone who's a diehard just like me, and we are so happy to be here bringing you Panthers content on this great Monday evening.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to every Panthers fan watching. Shout out to every hockey fan watching. You guys deserve the absolute best content possible because you watch the best league. And me and Jeremy are honored and privileged to bring you the best content we could possibly make. So please, please, if you enjoyed it, tune in, like, subscribe, share it with all of your friends, because why would you want to keep all this joy and happiness to yourself? I mean, don't be selfish. I mean, you share the whole pot around, everybody eats.
Exactly. Also, shout out Joel too for again producing another great episode for us. And of course, thank you to the Heat versus the World production team. We are very appreciative of them, and we love everything that they're doing over there.
Very much so. Much love to them. Shouts out.
That said, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. As Justin said, please, if you enjoyed, please come back for another episode next week when we're eventually going ahead and diving into our restless nights that we had in our sleep deprivation that we went ahead and put ourselves through. But I've been Jeremy, Justin over here. Thank you so much. And this has been the Ratchet Report. We'll see you again soon.
Peace.